Alright guys, what's going on? My name is Ted, and this is going to be junior year commentary. This is going to be my third year of high school, and it's so weird sitting here. I'm not even watching gameplay at all. I'm actually just like, I'm trying to fit the gameplays to the commentaries so I don't get restricted on my commentary length. So, sitting here in my room talking to myself about high school, and I kind of like it, I'm not going to lie. I enjoy sharing more personal stuff on YouTube. I don't normally do this, so this is going to be a rarity actually. But I am enjoying it, so I hope you guys are as well. But let's get into junior year. This is the year I've been talking about as the worst year of my high school career. Junior year sucked for many reasons, and I'm actually going to tell you all the reasons. That way, hopefully, you don't make the same mistakes as I did. And I shouldn't say it all sucked. There was actually several very, very, very good parts of junior year as well. Junior year was probably the most complicated and most developing year for me as a high school student. Alright, where should I start? Good Jesus, this is going to be a long-ass commentary. I'm probably just thinking of a million things right now. I'll probably forget them all later. Let's start with the worst part. The worst part that made it horrible was the classes that I took. The classes that I took was an international baccalaureate program. And I had been prepping for this the previous 2 years with the pre-IB, IB being International Baccalaureate, with the pre-IB program. And the International Baccalaureate is basically a very, very, very higher level program for the top students in the class, and I have the potential to be a top student in the class. I'm not trying to be cocky, but I feel like I have the potential to be the top student in the class. The only problem was my lifestyle, and the way that I like to live my life is I live my life for entertainment purposes, and I'm not ADHD at all. I'm not diagnosed at least, but I do not like studying, and I don't like working. I like playing video games, hanging with friends, and I can get by on a lot of passive knowledge that I gained from looking at class, but I simply couldn't do that in the classes that I was taking. The classes that I was taking were very, very hard, very, very higher level, very, very difficult, and I hated half the teachers. Before this, I had really chill teachers. Now I had, all of a sudden, the teachers were very, very strict, very, very difficult. I did not like them. And the classes that I was taking were not good. This mixed with the endless drama of high school that I was actually relating to back then. Praise the Lord, I got out of that at the end of the year, and I'll get into that later on too. I was very, very depressed. I had a horrible, horrible sophomore or junior year. The classes were drilling me into the ground. There was literally so much work that I got behind on. I was just like, fuck it. Like, no matter what I do, I will not do good in this class. So I start dropping them, and I start picking up early outs. And the good thing that I guess the silver lining to this was the early out. What early outs are is when you have enough credits for your high school career that you're on track to finish with more than you need. And because of this, you can have an early out, which is basically leaving school in replace of a period of class. And our school is very, very slack, and they give early outs. Essentially, if you want them, you just pick them. And because I had more credits than I could humanly ever need, I decided to take an early out for lunch and have a 90-minute lunch. And the silver lining, is why I call it silver lining, is because the only other person that I knew that had early out with me was this girl named Penny. And, God, absolutely love Penny. She was by far the girl that I absolutely loved the most in the world. And I probably shouldn't say her name over commentary. In fact, I'm actually going to take that part out. I'm just going to call her Penny. As if I said her name, but I'm going to take that out actually. So her name's Penny. I'm not going to say her full name. And I loved Penny to death. She was my favorite person in the whole world. And fortunately, we had lunch together. We had our 9-minute lunch together. And for those 90 minutes of the day, I absolutely enjoyed life. Like for the other 23 and a half hours, 23 hours, I guess it was just school, and then I had studying, and I was so far behind. I was just playing Xbox the whole damn time, and I wasn't even feeling good about it. I just did it just to, like, not have to do anything else. But when I went to lunch with Penny every day, we always went to Chick-fil-A. We had a great time. We shared endless laughs, absolute blast. And to this day, I consider Penny easily my favorite girl of all time. She was absolutely wonderful, and best friend I could ever have in my life. But, and then we'll get back to her at the very end of the commentary, so stay tuned. Something bad happens, but we'll get to that at the end of the commentary. So she was the silver lining of it, and that came with the early out that I ended up getting by dropping the classes. But the classes were so bad. I mean, I remember getting into Spanish, and the teacher literally took me outside of class, and she's like, Ted, you need to drop this class because you are not going to pass it. And this was the third day into school. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, give me a chance. But I took her warning, and I just dropped the class. That's how I got the early out. And the other classes, math, I've always been good at, so math was fine. But history would literally be, and this is not exaggerating, I know kids normally exaggerate their homework assignments. History was 1 chapter per night. She would take you home and she would say, chapter 11, due tonight. And then you had to write a 2-page summary of the chapter. Well, I can read and I can write, but I don't like doing them. And I sure as hell didn't want to read literally 20 pages every night and write a 2-page summary about it. It was too much. I didn't want to do it. And because of that, my grades just dropped so endlessly low. I mean, it was horrible, my grades were. And I ended up dropping and switching, and my guidance counselor, thank God she was there for me. She worked with me a lot, and we worked my classes around, so I ended up passing all my classes. But I ended up with a 42 average in biology for the second semester. And the only way that I passed it is because I learned kind of a little too late that they don't fail IB kids. What they do instead is whatever grades you get, they add in bonus. They, on the grade sheet, it just says bonus test grades until they boost your grade up to a passing grade. So although I had a 42 average, she had to add in 11 frickin' test grades of 100 to get me to pass that class. That's some serious fudging of the numbers, if you know what I mean. So she had to add in 11 hundreds for test grades just to get me to get past the 70 in that class. So that's how bad it was by the end of the year. And once again, this mixed with the drama. There was endless drama between me and my friends. I was having such a bad time, and I was relating that. Oh, I'm sorry. I was dispensing that bad, depression on my friends by texting them and getting mad at them. Whenever someone didn't hang out with me for a day, or whenever I was just feeling lonely, I'd text someone, and then I'd just get pissed off at them. I'd like release all my steam on them, and I just lost a lot of my good friends. I mean, I plain and true lost probably majority of my good friends. The only friend I really had left was one of my friends named Jacob, who's still my single best friend of all time today, and Penny and I, because I didn't ever relate that bad times to her. I'd never let steam off with her because I didn't want to bring her into that side of me. I always want to show the good side of me, and she kind of kept me going, I guess, through that entire year. Like that was really the one highlight of the day, was going to lunch with Penny, and sometimes Heather would join as well. And actually, if I can't remember at the end, I'll leave a picture. Well, no, I can't leave pictures of people on YouTube. That's right. Well, I can't leave a picture of her. Anyways, I would if I could, but I can't, so I'm not. But then and then I finally finished junior year, and I remember just going to bed at night sometimes in junior year, just like so depressed I couldn't even sleep. It was just the worst time of my life. Like I really, nowadays I can't even imagine that. But the main reason for this, and I guess the main what I learned from this, so that y'all guys don't make the same mistakes, is junior year is the last year that I was closed-minded. I evolved so much over the summer of junior year. It's fucking mind-blowing. Back in junior year, just literally 1 year ago, I was still doing junior year. I did not curse. I did not drink. I still don't smoke, but but back then I would not even talk to someone that smoked. I wouldn't even, if they say so much as talk about drinking or smoking, I would completely shun them. I was so closed-minded that I just didn't have any friends because of it. You got to figure, a lot of friends in high school, a lot of people in high school, 95% of them smoke or drank, and that's what you talk about. That's the quote-unquote cool things or whatever. And that's just the most eventful times of your life. So that's what you're going to talk about most of the time. And anyone that did, I completely shunned them from my life. I wouldn't talk to them at all. And that's why I had such a bad scene junior year. I had no one to talk to. I had no best friends. I had no fun things in my life, no rewarding times in my life. And that was before YouTube came up. That's before I could actually talk with you guys. That was actually near the beginning of it, of when I started making a lot of YouTube videos. I maybe had like 50 subs back then. But it just wasn't a very good year. I had nowhere to vent. I couldn't do anything. And never get yourself in that situation. Always find a friend that you can talk to. And like I was saying before, in my last commentary about sophomore year, don't make the mistake of texting them, because you'll be like I did, and I released a lot of steam on my best friends I didn't mean to do. Call them. It's always better to talk to people over the phone, or just hang out with them in real life and just share your feelings. Trust me, everyone in high school is going through a lot of shit that they want to talk about that they just can't talk about with any of their friends. And thank God I met some core good group of friends this year that I could talk to, and because of that, I had the best year of my life this year. And one last thing, like I was saying before, make sure you're open-minded. Just because you don't smoke and just because you don't drink, don't shun out people that do. Don't do it yourself. If you're against it, don't do it. Wait till it's time, or try it once, but don't ever do something you don't want to do just because your friends do it. However, on the other side of the hand, don't ever shun people, don't ever stop talking to people, don't ever not become friends with people or talk with them just because they smoke or drink. Things like that. I know that's a huge controversy in high school. Everyone's on one side of the fence to the other, and religion brings in a huge part of it as well. Follow your heart on a lot of those things, but also be open-minded. Being open-minded is the biggest thing I'll stress in high school, and I'm going to go into a whole commentary on itself about being open-minded later on. But as far as junior year goes, at the end of the year, by the end of the year, I was a mess. I completely dropped every single one of my classes, and by the end of the year, I didn't have a single original class left. I switched it all to lower-level classes, and that's the only way that I even ended up getting through that year was by switching down literally 4 levels lower, from IB to AP to honors, all the way down to CP, which is college prep, the very basic classes. The only one lower than that is like essentials. And that's the only way I can end up passing that year is because I dropped it down to the very lowest classes because they're the only ones left available for me to take. And upcoming, I guess junior year summer is part of junior year. So I wanted to get into that. As far as like I was saying with Penny, what ended up happening, and this will make me cry if I even try to get too in depth to it. Penny was my best friend of all time. I mean, I could easily say that. She was wonderful. I absolutely loved her to death. And then about, oh god, I don't want to start crying here. About May of junior year, Penny told me that she was moving. Whew, okay, hold on. Keep it together. Penny told me she was moving back to Oklahoma. Yeah. And I couldn't deal with that. I was very upset. I mean, I just broke down. I mean, when she told me that, it was like that she was moving away to Oklahoma. She was my saving grace, I guess, of junior year. And I remember the last day that I saw her was when she had a going away party at like some sort of club. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't like a club like, you know, like partying and dancing and all. But it was like, I wish I could remember, like the yacht club, I think it was, something like that. It had a dock and all. And it was her and her sister and her family and a bunch of really close friends. And the whole night I was just thinking, like, you know, like this is the last time I'm going to see her. And I was trying not to cry the entire night. And I went there with a few of my friends that she knew as well, that she had actually met through me. And we had a good time. It was a great night. And I remember the last time I saw her, I was trying not to cry the whole time. And then I looked at her and I was like, whew. I remember that I'd never gonna see her again. And all I can remember is that I just held her and I hugged her for like 5 minutes. We were just crying endlessly. Like we couldn't help but just cry because we had so many. We had so many good memories from that year. Like I can't even count the number of great memories that we had that year. Oh god, it was fantastic, and I mean, we did everything together. Every single day we hung out together, and the fact that she was leaving was just like mind blowing to me. I couldn't imagine, and God, it's like losing a parent almost. Like losing your best friend is like the hardest thing that I've gone through in a long time, and only this year have I ever gone through something harder than that. And I don't really want to talk about that either, but maybe later on I'll talk about that. It's family related, but when I said goodbye to Penny, it was just probably the worst moment of my entire life. As far as, or I'm sorry, not worse. That's a bad thing to say. Saddest moment of my entire life. God, I don't even want to think about that night. Like that night was horrible. I ended up sending her long messages that night on Facebook about just how much she meant to me and how much I cared about her. And that I'd never get to see her again was just more than I could handle for the most part. Yeah. So I don't really want to talk about that anymore. As far as Penny goes, loved her to death. I can't imagine. At the time, I couldn't imagine a life without her. Now it's been a year, and looking back on it, like I haven't even really kept up with her very much. And I feel absolutely horrible about that now, considering how much she was to me. But yeah. Whew, so we're gonna end the commentary there. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we're gonna move on to senior year next time, which is a much more cheerful one. I promise, I swear. And yeah, we're gonna move on to senior year next time, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the commentary, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.